After they successfully climb to top of the mountain, the most continue their journey into a mysterious cave to find the truth that they seek.
As they climbed, the mist thickened, wrapping around them like a living thing. Soon, they could barely see a few steps ahead. Django coughed. This fog is unnatural. It's like it's trying to... He stopped suddenly. Zuba turned. Django? His eyes were wide, staring into the fog. I see my mother. Zuba frowned. Your mother? Django took a shaky step forward. She's calling me. She's alive. His voice broke. She didn't die. Zuba grabbed his arm. Django, your mother passed away years ago. No. He yanked away from her grip, his eyes filled with desperation. She's right there. Can't you see her? Zuba turned in the direction he was pointing, but all she saw was the swirling mist. Then, a voice echoed from within the fog. Zuba, she froze. It was her father's voice. Her father, who had vanished when she was a child. Her breath quickened. What if he was here? What if he hadn't abandoned her? The fog shifted, and suddenly, she saw a familiar figure standing just beyond the mist. Baba, she whispered. Her father's voice was warm, filled with love. Come to me, my child. Her feet moved before she could think. But just as she took a step forward, something cold brushed her skin. The charm. A sharp pain shot through her wrist, snapping her out of trance. She gasped and stumbled back. The mist swirled, and suddenly, she saw the truth. The figure wasn't her father. It was a shadowy creature, its face distorted, stretching toward her like a hungry beast. It was an illusion, a trap. Django, she shouted. Django was almost completely lost in the mist. Zuba lunged, grabbing his arm and shaking him hard. Django, wake up. It's not real. He blinked, confusion clouding his eyes. What? The fog. It's playing tricks on us. Django looked back at where his mother had been, but now he saw what Zuba saw, a shadowy creature, reaching for him with clawed fingers. His face paled. We need to move. Now, Zuba said, holding on to each other. They pushed forward through the mist, ignoring the whispers that begged them to stop. The fog thickened, but they kept walking until they emerged. The mist disappeared, revealing a small clearing at the mountain's peak. At the center stood an old man, his skin dark like the earth, his eyes glowing white. He wore robes made of woven leaves, and a staff rested in his hand. You have done well, he said. Many do not escape the illusions of the mist. Zuba's heart pounded. Who are you? The man smiled. I am the guardian of the forgotten. I have awaited your arrival. Zuba and Django exchanged glances. The wisdom you seek is within the mountain, the guardian continued. But knowledge comes with sacrifice. Are you prepared? Zuba swallowed. She had come this far. There was no turning back now. I'm ready. The guardian nodded. Then enter. He stepped aside, revealing a cave hidden behind him. The entrance was dark, but Zuba could feel the power pulsing from within. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward. The truth of the curse awaited her, and she was ready to face it. Zuba took a hesitant step toward the dark cave, her heart hammering in her chest. The air around the entrance was thick, humming with unseen energy. Django stood beside her, gripping his machete tightly. Are you sure about this? He whispered. No, Zuba admitted, but we don't have a choice. The guardian of the forgotten watched them with unreadable eyes. Once you enter, the cave will reveal the truth. But be warned, truth is not always kind. Zuba nodded, steeled herself, and stepped inside. The cave swallowed them whole, darkness pressing in from all sides. But as they moved deeper, a soft blue glow flickered along the walls, illuminating strange carvings, images of people bowing before a woman, a great tree with roots stretching into the sky, and a village consumed by flames. Then the whispers began, faint at first, like the wind through leaves, then clearer, voices from the past. You betrayed us, Nyoka. Which, you must pay for your sins. The spirits will never forgive you. Zuba's breath caught in her throat. The images on the walls moved, shifting like living memories. She saw a woman, Nyoka, standing before a crowd of angry villagers. Her long braids swayed as she raised her hands in defense, her eyes burning with power. "I have done nothing but help you," Nyoka said, her voice firm. "You poison our land," a man shouted. "No," Nyoka said. "I healed it." But the villagers did not listen. They dragged her to the great Baobab Tree, tying her wrists with thick rope. A fire burned at their feet. Zuba clenched her fists. She could feel Nyoka's pain, her betrayal. The very people she had sworn to protect had turned against her. Then, suddenly, Nyoka's eyes glowed. A strong wind swept through the village, and the ground trembled. The fire died instantly. "If I must suffer," Nyoka said, her voice echoing with power, "then so shall you." She raised her hands, and a pulse of energy erupted from her body, knocking the villagers to the ground. The baobab tree behind her groaned and split open, pulling her inside before sealing shut. The vision faded. Zuba stumbled back, gasping. She looked down at her arm. The mark burned brighter than before. Django swallowed hard. She wasn't evil. They betrayed her. Zuba nodded, her voice shaking. The curse wasn't a punishment. It was revenge. The cave rumbled, and a deep voice filled the air. "You have seen the truth. Now you must decide." A new vision appeared. One of Zuba standing before the baobab tree, her hands raised. She could see two paths. One where she unleashed Nyoka's spirit, allowing her to take revenge on the village that had wronged her, and one where she broke the curse, setting Nyoka free in peace. Zuba's hands trembled. This was why she had been chosen, to decide whether to continue Nyoka's wrath or bring true justice. Django placed a hand on her shoulder. "What do we do, Zuba?" Zuba exhaled, her mind racing. There was only one answer. "We end the curse," she said. The cave shuddered, and the blue glow intensified. The mark on her arm pulsed with heat. The guardian's voice returned, then returned to the tree, and finished what was started. The cave's walls melted away, and suddenly, they were standing outside, the mountain behind them. Zuba looked at Django. Zuba clenched her fists. She knew now that the voice belonged to Nyoka, trapped for generations in the tree's heart. But would Nyoka seek peace or vengeance? Django exhaled beside her. "So, how exactly do we end a centuries-old curse?" Zuba unrolled the scroll one last time. The final words were clear now. A heart unchained, a spirit set free. Let the past find peace, and the future be healed. She took a deep breath. We need to release Nyoka's spirit, but not with anger. We have to offer her peace. Django frowned. And if she doesn't want peace? Zuba didn't answer. She wasn't sure herself. As they stepped into the village square, the elders and villagers turned to them with wide eyes. Mama Asha was already waiting, her face unreadable. "You have returned," she said. Zuba stepped forward, her voice steady. "I know the truth about the curse." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Mama Asha's expression darkened. "Then you know why we have feared this tree for generations." Zuba nodded. "But fear is not the answer. It never was." She turned to the villagers. "Nyoka was not evil. She tried to help, and you betrayed her. This curse, it was born from your ancestors' actions." A deep silence fell over the crowd. The wind howled through the village, as if the spirits themselves were listening. An elder stepped forward, his voice hesitant. "And what do you plan to do, child?" Zuba lifted her chin. "Set her free." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Some elders shook their heads in fear, while others looked uncertain. Django crossed his arms. "You can't keep pretending this curse will go away on its own. It's time to end it." Mama Asha studied them, then nodded. "Then we will bear witness." Zuba approached the baobab tree, its bark rough beneath her fingers. The moment she touched it, the whispers grew into wails. The ground trembled. The tree's roots curled and twisted. "Free me. Let me rise again." Zuba took a deep breath and placed her other hand on the tree. "Nyoka," she said firmly, "I know your pain. I know your anger. But vengeance has ruled for too long. It's time to rest." The air grew heavy. A dark mist seeped from the cracks in the bark, forming the shape of a woman with glowing white eyes. Her presence was powerful, overwhelming. Nyoka's gaze locked onto Zuba. You would ask me to forgive them? Zuba's throat tightened. Not for them. For you. You deserve peace. Nyoka's form wavered. Her eyes flickered with something, hesitation. Perhaps. Django stepped forward. Your revenge won't change what happened, but it can stop here. The wind howled. The tree groaned. Nyoka's form began to dissolve, her voice softer now. For generations, I have waited. Her tone was no longer angry, but tired. If you truly wish to free me, then speak the final words. Zuba closed her eyes and whispered the last line from the scroll. Let the past find peace and the future be healed. A golden light burst from the tree. The villagers gasped as the wind carried Nyoka's form into the sky. Her laughter. No. Her sigh of relief, echoing through the village. Then silence. The Baobab tree stood still. The curse was gone. Zuba turned to the villagers. It is done. Tears streamed down Mama Asha's face. The spirits have found peace at last. The villagers bowed their heads, acknowledging the truth. Django grinned. So, does this mean we're heroes now? Zuba laughed, the weight on her chest finally lifting. Maybe. But she knew one thing for sure. The past was no longer a shadow over their future. And the village would never be the same again. The village was different now. Lighter, as if a great weight had been lifted from the land. The Baobab tree, once dark and cursed, now stood as a silent guardian, its bark smooth where Nyoka's spirit had once been trapped. For the first time in generations, the air around it was still. No whispers, no wailing spirits, only peace. Zuba exhaled, feeling the tension drain from her body. She had done it. They had done it. Django clapped a hand on her shoulder. So, do we get a feast in our honor or what? Zuba laughed, shaking her head. I think you just want free food. Obviously. Behind them, the villagers murmured, still in shock at what had happened. Some whispered prayers of gratitude, while others touched the tree cautiously, as if expecting the curse to return. Mama Asha stepped forward, her wise eyes filled with pride. You have done what none before you could. Zuba, you have ended the cycle of fear. Zuba looked down at her hands, still tingling with the remnants of Nyoka's power. I just hope she's at peace now. The elder who had doubted her before cleared his throat. We owe you our gratitude. The village will remember this day for generations. Zuba nodded, but inside, she knew that wasn't enough. This wasn't just about remembering. It was about learning. She turned to the crowd. We must not only remember Nyoka's story. We must teach it to our children and to their children, so history never repeats itself. Fear and ignorance led to this curse. It must never happen again. The villagers murmured in agreement. Mama Asha smiled. You are wise beyond your years, child. That night, the village erupted in celebration. Fires burned bright in the square, and the sound of drums echoed into the sky. The people danced, laughed, and sang, relieved to finally be free. Zuba sat by the fire, watching as children ran around, their laughter ringing through the air. For the first time in her life, she felt whole. Django plopped down beside her, stuffing roasted yam into his mouth. You know, you make a pretty good hero. Zuba smirked. And you make a pretty good sidekick. He choked on his food. Sidekick. I fought spirits too, you know. She laughed. Fine, Kohiro. He grumbled but grinned, bumping her shoulder. So, what now? Zuba gazed up at the stars. I don't know, but I have a feeling this is just the beginning. And deep inside, she knew she was right. As the fires burned low and the villagers settled into the night, Zuba walked back to the Baobab tree one last time. The wind was soft, gentle against her skin. She placed a hand on the bark, whispering, Rest well, Nyoka. The leaves rustled, as if in response.
If you enjoyed this story, make sure you click like the video and subscribe to the channel for more fun stories like this.